kung sino siya dito.
Kinabukasan, maaga akong umalis pero gabi nang nakauwi sa amin. Hindi pa ako nakakababa ng tricycle nang makita kong nagmamadaling lumabas ng bahay namin si Kuya Paulo. Pagpasok ko sa bahay, nadatnan kong umiiyak si Ate Rosella habang galit na galit si Itay. Mukhang alam na nito ang ginawa ng ate ko. Dumiretso na lang ako sa silid ko at nagpahinga. Hindi na rin ako lumabas para maghapunan. Kinabukasan na rin ako lumabas ng kwarto ko.
Kate, may ideya ka na siguro na dito natitira sa atin ang kapatid mo at mga pamangkin mo.
Opo. Alam ko na pagdating pa lang ni na ate. Alam niyo ba nakatrabaho ko yung babaeng kinakasama ni Noel?
Ganun ba? Katrabaho mo pala siya. Ginugulo niya kasi ang ate mo.
Matagal na po kasi silang nagsasama bago pa naging magkarelasyon si na ate at si Noel. Siya din ang dahilan ng hiwalayan ng dalawa nun bago pa mag-asawa si Ate Rosella. Kaya ganun na lang ang galit ni Mabel.
Nagsisisi na ang ate mo sa nagawa niya. Gusto na niyang ayusin ang pamilya niya.
Ano po bang sabi ni Kuya Paulo?
Ayaw na niyang balikan ng ate mo eh. Ang gusto niya, makuha ang dalawang bata. Ayaw naman ng Ate Rosella mo.
Kung ako kay ate, ibigay na lang niya ang dalawang bata sa ama. At mapapabuti sila dun dahil may trabaho si Kuya Paulo. Total siya ang nagloko.
Hindi naman ganun kadali yun.
Alam ko po na mahirap, pero mahihirapan siya kung wala naman siyang trabaho. Buti kung magsuporta pa sa kanya ang asawa niya.
Nagbanta nga na hindi na magbibigay.
Paano yan? Kung patuloy siyang magmamatigas, pati yung mga bata maaapektuhan.
Baka pwedeng ikaw na muna ang bahala sa kanila.
Noy, hindi ko na po kakayanin. Dapat, umpisahan na ni ate na humanap ng trabaho.
Maghahanap naman daw siya. Pansamantala lang naman yun.
Sariling kaligayahan lang niya kasi ang iniisip niya. Ang damit tuloy na perwisyo.
Huwag mo nang sisihin ang ate mo. Bugbog na nga sa termo ng tatay mo eh.
Dapat lang na magtanda siya.
Pinutuo nga ng bayaw ko na hindi siya magsusuporta. Hindi namang makaangal ang ate ko dahil siya ang may kasalanan. Hindi ko rin alam kung nag-a-apply ba siya ng trabaho. 2 buwan na rin sila sa bahay. Dahil hindi ko rin matiis sa mga pamangkin ko, ako munang umako sa gastusin nila. Wala silang naririnig na reklamo sa akin. Ang hindi ko lang nagustuhan ng pag-uwi ko sa amin, inukupan na ng kapatid ko at 2 pamangkin ang kwarto ko.
Anong ginagawa niya rito? Mula ngayon, ito nang magiging kwarto namin. Ang kapal naman ang mukha mo na magsiga-sigaan dito. Mas may karapatan ako dahil panganay ako. Umayad na rin si inay. Lagi mo nilang ginagamit ang pagiging panganay mo para makuha ang gusto mo. Masyado ka talagang makasarili mula pa noon. Dalaga ka pa naman eh. Kailangan namin ng privacy ng mga anak ko at ganun din naman ang mga magulang natin. Dapat lang na ikaw ang
Gatasan lang ba ang tingin mo kay Kate?
Narinig mo pa na.
Oo! Umaasa pa naman ako na magbabago ka. Pero lalo kang lumalala. Dapat siguro pati ikaw magpa-check up na rin.
Oo na! Sige na! Tama ka! Kumusta na lang mahalaga? Dahil sa lahat na hina sa dalawa.
Hindi dahilan yun para lagi kang nakakampi kay Rosella at binabaliwala mo naman si Kate na mas nakakatulong sa atin.
Di magmamatigas ka talaga na hindi sa tawagan para hinga ng tulong.
Hindi talaga. Wala akong balak.
Gaalala talaga kayo kay ate. Ganon din naman kami eh. Pero ipagdasal na lang natin siya. Yun lang ang magagawa natin, tulong sa kanya.
Kung pwede ko na sana makuhin na lang ang paghihirap ng ate mo. Para akong paulit-ulit na namamatay.
Maupo muna kayo ha. Baka kayo naman ang magkasakit yan eh.
Para nang mababaliw si inay habang tinatakpat
O, tadhana na rin ang maglalapit sa inyo.
Oo nga, tama ka. Dito ka na ba ulit titira?
Hindi eh. Kaya gusto kitang makausap para magpaalam. Dadalaw na lang ulit ako sa inyo ni Inay.
Talagang ayaw mo na kaming makasama, ha?
May kanya-kanya naman tayong buhay eh. Pero pamilya pa rin tayo, kahit anong mangyari.
On my way home, there was a black van parked by the roadside. On my way home, there was a black van parked by the roadside because 4 children had already gone missing in the town. I was terrified. Suddenly, a strange man appeared. He deliberately scattered things all over the ground, successfully drawing my attention. He lied and said he was a magician and asked if I wanted to see a magic trick. Then he pulled out a bunch of black balloons and used drugs to knock me unconscious. When I opened my eyes again, I was surrounded by sealed concrete walls and a man wearing a mask. I realized he was the child abductor.
Oh, sorry. If someone's upstairs, they'll hear me.
No, it won't. No, with the door shut.
Me?
With the door shut. No one can hear anything down here. I soundproofed it myself.
I screamed in fear for help, but no one could hear me. I tried to find a way to escape, but inside the room, besides a bed and a toilet, there was only a disconnected phone. I tried jumping to reach the window to escape, but I couldn't reach it at all. Then I suddenly realized the phone could communicate with ghosts. The next day, the kidnapper brought me food. After he left, I noticed the door wasn't locked. I had to seize the chance to escape. Just as I was about to make a move, the phone suddenly rang. I answered it. He warned me not to go out. It was a trap.
Don't go upstairs.
Why not?
It's a trap.
I asked who he was. Turned out to be Billy, one of the kidnapper's victims.
Stay safe in there. First, try it. I'll punish you. I'll beat you with that belt till you pass out.
After hanging up, I quietly went upstairs to check. Sure enough, the kidnapper was sitting in the hall waiting for me. I didn't run. Instead, I went back and ate breakfast. The next day, Billy called again.
See the wall in front of you? See the wall separated from the floor?
Yeah.
I tore a long cable loose from down there. I kept it hidden.
He had hidden a wire inside the room and told me I could use it to escape through the window. I found the wire and hooked it onto the window. I climbed with all my strength. Freedom was right in front of me, but the window broke. All hope was gone. After the kidnapper brought me food again, I received another call. This time it was Griffin.
You don't have much time.
Why hasn't he killed me?
She told me the kidnapper wasn't killing me because he wanted to play a game called Naughty Boy. If he didn't beat me, he couldn't move on to the next step. Then she told me there was a combination lock on the door. It was Griffin's bike lock. The kidnapper used it to lock the door, and Griffin had carved the code into the wall. I found the code. Then I quietly went upstairs. The kidnapper was asleep, but when I unlocked it, his dog barked loudly. On my way home, there was a black van. I had just boarded the train when I found someone had taken my seat. I reminded the lady that it was my spot, but she pretended not to hear. Instead, she said I was young and could stand for 8 hours without a problem. I stated again that this was my seat, but she suddenly raised her voice, pretending to be pregnant and in need of care. I replied, "That's not my responsibility, and I worked hard to buy this seat. I'm not giving it up for you. You have no right to take it." She stood up and yelled that I had no compassion, then put on a pitiful act, telling other passengers I was bullying her. Soon, others began blaming me, urging me to give her the seat. I couldn't help but laugh, then turned to the woman who spoke the loudest and said, "If you're so compassionate, why not give her your seat?" She quickly argued back that she was too old to give up her seat, so I offered a solution. I paid $700 for this seat. "If you buy it from me, I'll give it up right now." She retorted, "Why should I pay?" Then I turned to the woman in my seat and said, "Now please get up." She completely lost it, throwing a tantrum and refusing to move. Just